So carborundum, if you don't even know what it is, it's the grit that is on sandpaper, and it can be used to make a really rich printmaking surface that you can manipulate with the ways you apply it. So that it operates a bit like aquatint to give you various shades of, various shadow effects, which can range from really deep black to just that sort of mid-tone of an aquatint without using any difficult chemical processes. It's incredibly easy to use and apply. And the thing I particularly like about it is you can be very free in the way you use it. So your plate that you're printing from becomes almost like a painting. So you can transfer quite painterly effects to your paper and build up quite a few layers doing that. So I often use plexi plate, just the really thin stuff, because it's the easiest thing because you don't have to do anything in advance. I do also use, I'll show you that in a minute, so cardboard sometimes, but that involves plate preparation. So a plate like this, which has just been covered all over with your carborundum mixture, will just give you a not terribly even but interesting surface layer, which sometimes I then print over with different, another print. And yeah, so I've got a range of ones where I've got more or less texture, and then somewhere I've actually used it for more of an actual image. So this one is quite an old one on cardboard. So this is the plate, not the print. So cardboard that's been varnished, I like using polyurethane varnish just to seal it before I apply anything, which is the one extra step if you're using cardboard, but I quite like cardboard as a surface for scratching into. It's quite a nice, it gets a nicer line, a more interesting line I find than using dry point on plexi plate, which is what this is. Oh, there's like the first print of that cardboard plate, which is gets really black. It gets lighter and lighter as you print. So like with this, I've done the dry point outlines first, just to sort of define where the carborundum goes, and then I go back into it afterwards, just because it can fill up your dry point. And I'll go back into it, and you can do that when it's still a bit wet. I had two different plates that I was working from with these, and this is the background one, so it's a really grungy looking plate and applied very loosely. And then but it's useful, you can sort of turn it around one way and the other way and ink it twice and ink it differently and ink it in patches just to get some different effects. So I can use the carborundum basically in association with a whole lot of different colograph processes to create quite interesting rich plates that you're working from. This is one where I was just demonstrating yesterday. So this is the carborundum powder and gel, which I tend to use a gel medium. You can either get, this one's reasonably liquid. This one is a modelling paste, which is quite solid, so you can get more raised areas. So with either one of these, I would apply so this is using a really disgusting brush just to get some brush mark effects. So just apply it really roughly to my plate. And then in here I've got carborundum powder with a gauze over the top, and just shake that onto my glue. Always do it on a piece of paper because heaps will come off. You can do that twice if you want to get a really good black. I can add a bit more in case you've missed bits. So that's the simple way of applying my carborundum powder, which if I just left it like that to dry, that would give me a really rich black. It uses up a lot of ink if you don't apply a surface coating to it. So on this plate I have done, this first one was what I did first. So gel medium and a layer of carborundum. The second one is the gel medium, a layer of carborundum, and then a layer of polyurethane to seal it. So quite thin polyurethane, which just stops it deteriorating so quickly, stops it taking up quite so much ink, makes it easier to ink up and makes it easier to clean. But I still think if you do it without the varnish layer, if you're not wanting to do very many prints, you'll get a much deeper black. This is just using a heavier, this is using the modelling paste. You can come and have a look at this afterwards, but that's using the modelling paste with the powder, just to show you that it's a bit more three-dimensional. This is using gesso as your first layer, which also is can be quite a raised surface, so you get some embossing on your print. This one is using pumice gel, which you can get from the Studio Art Supplies, Gordon Harris, which has a similar effect but not quite so dark. But it's useful. I've used that for some of these plates where I just want texture but not intense depth of colour. The black powdery stuff up the top is coal dust that I collected from the Maramarua coal mine outside because I couldn't get in. So I did gel medium through a stencil and then sprinkled the coal dust afterwards. Just that they might not be entirely clean.